Scott Drew's Portland. Boy, is he Portland. He had a great first day on Monday, brings in Michael Ratai and Obi Agbim from Wyoming, Ratai being from Oregon State, and you're off to the races. And what did I say after that first one? I said, this is great. You got your two guys with experience. I'm hoping we can see some more guys with some eligibility left. Flash forward to Thursday, another big-time portal pickup for Scott Drew. J.J. White out of the University of Nebraska-Omaha, the Mavericks, who were in the tournament this year. They played St. John's. J.J. White comes in, senior, averaged almost 14 points a game and 4 assists a game last year, shot basically 50% from the floor, 44% from three, and was instrumental in getting the Mavs to the playoffs last year, or to the NCAA tournament last year where they lost to St. John's. He had a good game in that game against St. John's, by the way. He was kind of fast and loose with the basketball a little bit, but he did play 29 minutes, scored 15 points, 5 assists, 4 turnovers. But this guy comes in as a point guard with a ton of experience. He's a senior. Not exactly what we were looking for there, but let's get back to that in a second. You don't want to pass up talent for eligibility. You look at J.J. White's stats, and what jumps out to me and what jumped out to the nation this year, and Nebraska-Omaha specifically, is that three-point number that I talked about. 35% his freshman year. Okay, decent shooter out there, not a high volume. The next year, same volume, about 2 threes a game. And he goes down to 28%. Now that's like Bull Durham, right? That's a shot here or there that rims out, right? Remember what Kevin Costner said in Bull Durham? That's 1 flare a week. But then that jumps right back up, and it exceeds his career high to that point. It goes from 28% to 44% a year ago. And he had 19 threes that were 25 feet or deeper. The kid can hit it from everywhere. This is a good pickup. This is another guard who averages in double figures and was a big part of a tournament team this past year. But there is a caveat to this. If you watch J.J. White's highlight film, first off, you're going to see a lot of twos. It's not just all threes. Takes 4.5 a game from three-point land, but most of his shots are twos. Takes 9 twos a game. But what you see when you watch that highlight tape, the first name that popped into my head, you guys know I'm always looking for comps, just play style comps when I'm looking at these guys. The first name that popped into my head watching J.J. White's hoop mixtape, Robert Wright. Rob Wright's not the three-point shooter that J.J. White is, but inside the arc, they're the same player. They're the same height. They're ball dominant. They're both great finishers at the rim, acrobatic finishers at the rim. They play the same way. So here's the double-edged sword. And neither side of the sword is good. He's a good player, but he does not come in with the eligibility that you're looking for. 1 year. He's going to come in with 1 year of eligibility. And it's now the second point guard you've gotten out of the portal. Am I missing something, or is this the writing on the wall? I don't want to manifest this. I don't want Rob Wright going anywhere. I want him being the starting point guard for the Baylor Bears next year. But you've just gotten 2 point guards out of the portal this week. And one of them plays exactly like Rob Wright. Exactly like him. With a better three-point shot. Obi Agbim is a point guard. You can play him off the ball. He's that gifted offensively and scoring, I should say. But J.J. White, you watch this guy, you're like, that's a point guard. Maybe you can move him off it the way you did Jaden Nunn because you knew there was a good shooter in Jaden Nunn. But look at the year Jaden Nunn had this year. I'm getting worried. I'm getting worried that this is now a contingency plan to fill in for Rob Wright. Again, we have not heard anything from Rob. I don't know of any rumors, back channels or anything. I'm not trying to report something. But as I've said on the show before, it would not stun me if he is going to look at all avenues. And that's the NBA draft and the transfer portal. Like, I don't know the exact numbers, but he came in on a pretty big budget compared to some of the other players on this team last year in terms of NIL. So he could well be searching for another deal out there. He has that right. Absolutely. No pun intended. Rob Wright has that right. But the most damning part is the two talented players you brought in this week at the guard position. Right? I don't want this is not like a knock of like, how can you bring this guy in, JJ White? Because I think he comes in and he's going to be a player. He's going to be an impact player for them. He fills a need that they have in three-point shooting. And maybe that's what Scott Drew's looking at. Maybe he's not thinking of it as a Rob Wright replacement. And maybe he's just thinking of it as a guy who comes in and shoots over 40% from three. Agbim does it, and JJ White does it. They both shoot around 43, 44% from three, which is outstanding. Outstanding. And a good enough sample size, too, to replace a guy who you thought could be a 40% three-point shooter in Jaden Nunn, and one who was a 40% three-point shooter before coming in Jalen Celestine, who, by the way, was also 44% his last year at Cal. So take anything with a grain of salt. 44% might not translate year to year or to a bigger conference, a more competitive conference. It might not. And so maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe that's what he's doing in just filling in, like moneyballing this and filling in the statistics that they lacked this year. But you look at the positions they play, you look at the style in which they play, both Obi Agbim and JJ White, and the ball dominance that they play with. There's only one basketball to go around. And the more they add these kind of guys, the more I worry about Rob Wright's availability for this team next year. Because I think he can be an all Big 12 player. Fran Fraschilla thinks he can be an All-American next year. He said that before this season, by the way. He said if Rob Wright stays the second year, he'll be an All-American. He said that before the 24-25 season. So, and much as some of you might hate Fran, he knows his stuff. He really knows his stuff, and he knows this team and this conference pretty intimately. So, not to fearmonger here, not to be doom and gloom, but there's two guys at Rob Wright's position they brought in this week. That's the long and short of it. And if this is the case and these guys are going to be the players and not Rob Wright, you still got two pretty good players. But the downsides are they might be replacing Rob Wright. And the second one is I'd like to see them start getting some guys with eligibility left after next year. We all know it. We all know that they need to develop. And they need guys, continuity. They need lineup continuity from year to year. They have not had that. The talent is what you need first, but second, you need some continuity. They've brought in talent. They still need to go out and get a handful of guys or more in the portal because they only have one recruit coming in from high school. I'd like to see all the rest of these guys have more than 1 year of eligibility left. Maybe I'm being crazy, but that's what I'm looking for. JJ White, welcome to the squad. I don't mean this to sound too negative. JJ White's a damn good player and fills a need that you have. But I do wonder what that means for Rob Wright and what that means for the rest of the transfer portal haul. Let me know what you guys think it means. Let me know in the comment section below. What do we need to do to keep Rob Wright here? Is this any kind of writing on the wall? Let me know in the comments. Or tweet at us at Locked On Baylor. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Only about 50% of you that watch every day are actually subscribed to the channel. We're like the number one source now for Baylor sports content. We're not tied in directly to the university, so you're not getting the company line when it comes to that. So like, subscribe, bring the notification bell to get notified every time we're going live. We are here at least every weekday on YouTube and then wherever you get your podcasts.